So we're going to talk a little bit about diagonal position. We talked about parallel position before, where you're playing with the tips of your fingers, and all the fingers are sort of parallel to the fretboard. Okay, and that means that there's some space in here for a finger. You're not holding it like it's a hockey stick or a machine gun, and your wrist isn't really bent up like this. It's more like that. Okay, that's the one basic position. Now there's another position that you need to be aware of. Some call the diagonal position. Basically, with the diagonal position, you'll see this with certain fingerings and some chords. That's where this part of the finger, the knuckle, actually touches the guitar in some for some chords and for some scales. Okay, and for some playing, you will be in this diagonal position. So you find yourself switching from this diagonal position to this parallel position in songs when you're playing solos and you're playing chords and different rhythms. So it's kind of like your thumb is on a hinge and you're going back and forth between these different positions. Okay, so for example, if you play a D chord, which some of you might know, okay, you might be angled up a little bit more. Okay, that means that this knuckle might actually be touching the underside of the guitar at maybe the first fret. So you'll see that a lot, particularly if you say play an A chord like this. You may be up a little bit. Play a C chord though, you might actually be in a diagonal position. Okay, so these things switch all the time with different songs. So we're going to show you an exercise today just to sort of work on switching between the parallel position and the diagonal position. And you're going to use the finger walk exercise in fifth position that we may have talked about before. But then you're going to start switching strings. So in this case, it's going to start on the first string at the 5th fret, and you're going to play the 5th, the 6th, the 7th, and the 8th. You're now in parallel position. Your wrist is not bent. You're playing with the tips of your fingers. Now you're going to anchor your hand using your first finger. You're going to hold this one down, and you're going to move each of these other fingers up a couple of strings. So what's going to happen is that your second finger is going to move up to the 6th fret of the 2nd string. Your third finger is going to move up to the 3rd string, okay, the 7th fret, and then your pinky is going to move up to the 4th fret, the 8th string. Okay, so you'll start off just by going like this, and it's all parallel position at this point. Then, so playing with the tips of your fingers, okay, still in parallel position. So if we try it again. Now again, to really sort it out, you may want to play it 4 notes at a time. Back to the 5th fret of the 1st string. Now you play the 2nd fret, 6th string, 2nd string, 6th fret. Then the 3rd string, 7th fret. Then the 4th string, 8th fret. Now if you've done that a few times, you're in parallel position. You're going to keep the pinky where it is, and you're going to go to the 4th string, and you're going to have all the fingers down. Playing on the 5th fret, 6th, 7th, and 8th. And you're going to do basically the same thing but in reverse. So you're going to go from the 5th fret to the 4th string, and then the 6th, and then the 7th, and then the 8th. Okay? Now what you'll do is you're going to anchor again with your first finger. You're going to keep that first finger on the 5th fret of the 4th string. And then these guys are going to move down. So middle finger is going to go down to the 6th fret of the 3rd string. Third finger is going to go down to the 7th fret of the 2nd string. And your pinky is going to go down to the 8th fret on the 1st string. So it'll sound like this. what you may find is that this part of your knuckle, again, on that first finger, is actually touching the underside of the guitar, and that's fine. You're definitely sort of at a diagonal. You're not like this anymore. You're sort of going to that position. So if we try it again, just going on the 4th string, 5, 6, 7, and 8, and then switch it down, and then again. So you may want to practice this after you do other finger walk exercises, just to get your hand to be aware of those different positions, because you're going to need them. Now, regardless if you're in parallel or diagonal position, you should be playing with the tips of your fingers. Curl joints. And then your hand will be aware of the different positions and the different ways it moves. And you'll be seeing this a lot in a lot of different songs. Okay, doesn't matter what you play. Your left hand technique is often switching between those two different positions.